Welcome to the Be Happy Now show. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. I'm Claudia-Sam. If you know that you're here for a bigger reason, this is the place to be. Together, we ditch the self-care guilt and quit the go with less fear and more trust. Tune in to living life in alignment with your full potential. The Be Happy Now show starts now.
Welcome to the special snippet of the Be Happy Now show. I'm Lisa, part of Claudia-Sam's team. In this episode, Claudia-Sam describes a powerful analogy that will help you regain control when overwhelm or anxiety seem to be taking over. She shares practical tools and steps to help you become aware of those early signals of overwhelm and how to choose ease and calm. You'll learn how to recognize the indicators of stress before they take over and discover how small mindful shifts can bring you back to a place of peace and balance. So take a deep breath, settle in, flex your soul connection muscle, tune into your inner wisdom, and prevent overwhelm from taking hold. Enjoy the snippet.
Okay. Whatever you're moving through, for example, if it feels like, hey, I really want to have these clear boundaries with my loved ones. I want to be able to communicate from a loving place. I want to stop being so triggered. Or maybe it's actually, I want to stop anxiety from taking me on a freight train. Like every time I'm about to be anxious, it feels like my whole body gets trapped and tight and tense. And then I'm on the anxiety train. And somehow it's going so fast, I can't calm down. When you might hear coaches or people you're in your support group, your peers that are saying, hey, it can be easy. You don't have to choose that it's difficult. It doesn't have to be difficult. You can change the way that you see this. But you're on the train and you're like, it's so hard. I get it. And one of the first things that I want to bring as an image, as a visual for you, is imagine that. Imagine that there's a train that's going so fast and there are stations. The train stops at different stations. You just happen to walk from one station to the next. Okay. You're on this walk and then sometimes you stop at a train station. And sometimes it feels like you didn't even stop at the train station and all of a sudden you're in the train. It's like maybe you were looking at your phone or maybe you were listening to the Be Happy Now show. Maybe you were doing something else that had you not fully be in the present moment. And then all of a sudden you're on the anxiety train. Well, there is a way for you to backtrack the way to the train. There is a way for you to go, hey, wait a minute, but I can be in the present moment. I can remember my tracks. I can be so present that I'm aware when I'm about to go onto the anxiety train. I can be so present that I take a pause on my way to the train station. Okay. You get to decide to give your power away to this anxious feeling in the moment of overwhelm, of thoughts that are projecting you into the past or in the future. And you get to slowly trace back your behaviors, your thoughts, your decisions to the original point where there was an indication that you're about to take one step on the train here. An indication that can have you stop on your tracks to anxiety, stop on your tracks to feeling off track. When we are feeling like, oh my gosh, it's too late. I can't think that life is easy. I can't think that it's easy to calm down because I'm already so high up in my anxiety, in my depression, or so low in my depression. I'm so into the emotion, so into the motion, I can't seem to see clearly. You know how when you're in a train and you look outside the window And if you are seeing the video, I'm gonna visualize it for you, but you're looking out the window. Let's say you want to follow something, like you follow it so fast, you can't, like you have to move your face, your eyes to looking at what you're looking at because the train is moving. So you're kind of in this train. And if you keep your eyes stuck on one place on the window, you're going to see everything move past you. But if you want to focus on one specific thing that keeps moving, well, it gets to be overwhelming a lot. So I get that when you're like, well, I want things to be easy, but they're not, that it might be difficult. So in the energy and the effort, in the idea of backtracking, you might have heard me talk about the inner body indicator in another episode of the Be Happy Now show. You can look it up. I do have some episodes on the inner body indicator. The idea is to trace back to those little flags that give you indications, tips, like little flags. Hey, you're about to get anxious here. The thoughts are about to take power over you. Overwhelm is about to overpower. So the idea is to trace it back. So the questions I have for you is, what is the emotion? What is the indication? What happens when you're past anxiety, like past the panic, beyond anxiety, beyond the, oh my gosh, I'm stuck in a funk? What's the indication that, okay, too late, I'm already past anxiety? What's the indication of, oh, I already passed it? And that can be a thought. It can be a feeling. It can be like, well, I just panicked. It can be well, I just exploded with my partner instead of talking calmly. And then they got triggered and then they yelled and then we didn't have clear communication at all. So maybe it's getting into a fight. Maybe that's the point of, oh, well, I went past the anxiety. I didn't listen to the indicators. I went overboard at this time. What's the indicator? In other words, what are the symptoms that could mean that you have already gone through the crisis? What are symptoms? What symptoms mean that you've gone through the crisis, that you've gone through the big panic, and that you're on the train and it's been a few stops? Okay. So symptoms can be physical, they can be mental, so they can be environmental, like, well, we just had a fight. That's environmental. It can be, oh, my heart, it's pounding so loud, or I'm so thirsty because I'm hyperventilating. Or maybe it's, I'm so hot because my heart is racing and it feels like I'm out of control here. It could be mental. It could be maybe a bunch of self-sabotage. Oh my gosh, you're so stupid. You didn't look at the indicator. You didn't slow down. You're giving your power away. What are they going to think? Why didn't he stop me? Blah, 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 blah. Maybe the overthinking is an indication, or the self-sabotage or the self-judgment. Maybe that's an indication that, okay, that's a symptom. It means I've already gone through the crisis. So we're starting there because we're starting from after the fact to walk our tracks back so that we can prevent it, learn where we're at on our way into, through, out of, before anxiety, before crisis, before panic, before SHIT hits the fan. Okay. So just prior to that, then we've already gone through the crisis. What symptoms mean that you're in a crisis? What symptoms mean that you're on the train? You're in the anxiety train. You are in overwhelm. You are in what you would call is hard. You are in the difficult. You are unable to see the ease. What are the symptoms that have you know that that's where you're at? P.S. This is totally what I do with my clients in a coaching session, and we make it even more personalized so you can really be heard and seen for what you're going through. And a lot of the times, these questions that I ask, well, they're even more personalized and customized to you, to the energy that we co-create, to the space that we're in. It's really magical. It's really powerful. You can always go to claudiasamsoulcoaching.com/yes to book one of those possibilities chat with me. Okay. So once you know that you've gone through the crisis, we looked at what the symptoms were for that. Then what are the symptoms that have you know for sure that you are in it? You are in the anxiety, in the difficult, in the hard, physically, mentally, emotionally. There is a difference between overwhelm in a panic and overwhelm in awareness. And the symptom that might have you know that you've gone through the crisis, like mentally, the overwhelm might be totally different than the overwhelm when you are in crisis. For me personally, the overwhelm in crisis is kind of shock. I can't take action from that place. It's like complete, I don't even follow the thoughts. So I'm not aware of the specific thoughts. I just know there's a lot. So I'm still in the panic at that phase. When I am past the panic of, I am noticing the thoughts, I'm noticing the self-sabotage, I'm noticing the judgment, I'm noticing the spiraling down, I've moved past the crisis. Yeah, I might still be in it a little bit, but I've moved past it. So the symptoms that might have you mean that you are in the anxiety, that you are in the hard. Well, what about physically? Is it, okay, I can't breathe? Is it, wow, the weight of the world is on my shoulders? What is that symptom? Is it, okay, there's a migraine? Is it the body wants to be sick? Like there's energy moving through the body so rapidly that it feels like you're being violently ill? What about emotionally? Do you feel like you want to cry? Does it feel like you're so angry? Does it feel like, hyperventilation? Does it feel like such a low place of despair, feeling alone, lost? What does it feel like to be in the crisis, to be in the hard? Because then you can't know it. You can't, it's hard. It's hard in the hard to tune into ease because there's no awareness that ease can exist. Okay. So we went from what symptoms mean that you've already gone through the crisis to what symptoms mean that you are in it. And then the precursor indicator that you're about to jump, you're about to step in the train, you're about to be in the crisis. What is that indicator? It personally for me, I'm going to share for me, it might be sometimes that I'm going to take my phone and move from one action to the other, booking this, booking that, over planning, stepping away from an appointment, from a call, from a connect call, from a coaching call with my clients or other people that I'm connecting with. For example, recording the Be Happy Now show, the precursor to a crisis, to anxiety, to overwhelm, to the quote unquote hard, to the limitation of seeing any ease would be moving from one action to the next, closing one tab, reopening another without taking a breath. It can also be talking really, 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 really fast, a lot without stopping. It could be that too. What is your precursor indication that you're about to step into the anxiety train, the overwhelm train, the train that has you feeling out of ease? Okay. Physically, mentally, emotionally. You get to decide. Maybe for you, that is shaking. Your body starts shaking. Maybe it starts to feel hot in your body because you know You're about to maybe say yes to something you want to say no. And you saying yes, you crossing your boundaries, you dishonoring what you really want, you moving past what your soul wants for you might be the precursor to anxiety. You might be getting in your own way. Isn't that exciting? Exciting because you have control over it. Exciting because you get to be your own inner guide and you get to be aware and tune in and play and get curious. And the more you practice tracking the sensations back from I've gone overboard, I've surpassed the crisis, the anxiety, the overwhelm, that now it's harder than hard. And then you backtrack it all the way until the precursor, physically, emotionally, mentally. Then from there, you get to practice. Like in the Be Happy Now show, you're here to flex your soul connection muscle. You get to backtrack all the way so that you can more and more practice prevention of hard, preventing anxiety, having you be in charge of how you feel. And it might be that you just always wake up and you find yourself on the train. You didn't have to make a decision. You didn't even see a thought coming. You didn't see any symptoms. That's why we take it one baby step at a time. And you being here, listening to this, is a huge step. This contributes to the energy of growth, of healing, of bettering, of empowerment, of healing. Because you know that there is something to expand within you. You know that there is something that you wish to prevent. You are here for that. And just you being here opens up an energy door. It opens up possibilities. Take a breath.
You've been listening to the Be Happy Now show with me, Claudia-Sam. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. You are worthy of being you and of connecting to what stops you from living the life you are meant to live. Access more soul connection coaching at ClaudiaSamCoaching.com.